join us.
Okay, looks like we're live.
Okay, thank you. So let's call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Poolesville Town Commissioners. It is August 16th, 2021. And I'm present. I'm the president of the commission. Commissioner Eck is here, Commissioner Radigan, Commissioner Brown. Hopefully Commissioner Reed will be able to join us soon. He's having some kind of technical difficulties.
Here he comes.
Okay, great. Wade Yost is with us, our town attorney, Jay Gullo, our town engineer, John Strong, and it looks like Commissioner Reed is joining us as well now. So as always, we'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance. Martin, would you like to lead us this evening?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the
The
flag
flag of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And this evening, Commissioner Eck had asked if we could take a moment of silence for fallen hero, Captain Joshua Laird, who unfortunately perished in, looks like it was a 2-alarm fire in Frederick County a couple days ago. So if we could just take a moment of silence to honor him. Thank you all very much. Unfortunately, it's a sad week on our planet. A lot of people dealing with tragedy all over the world, and I think our thoughts are with people in Afghanistan and certainly with the people of Haiti right now, with the devastation, and now they have a horrible storm coming towards them as well. So it's a sad week for a lot of people on our planet. Keep them all in our thoughts. And we usually start out with our announcements and reports. I'm wondering if the rest of the commission wouldn't mind allowing, we have 2 community members wanting to speak to us on the topic of the Poolesville Day preparations. Would that be all right with everyone if we just let them in first?
Yeah, that sounds
Yes,
good.
definitely. Yes.
All right, could we go ahead and let Dr. Dugarella join us? Okay, great. Looks like we have both. Hi, Dr. Dugarella, and hi, Faith Etheridge.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. Dr. Dugarella, do you want to go ahead first? Thanks for joining us. I know that you wanted to just share your expert advice as a medical professional about preparations for Poolesville Day in terms of COVID-19.
And before you start, can we just take a second to thank Dr. Dugarella for everything he's done for helping to get the community vaccinated. That was I hope we formally thanked you, but if not, thank you very much for all that. It's very, very much appreciated, and I think it's a great service to our community. We're very fortunate to have you here.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. We feel like at our practice that it's kind of our duty to kind of step up when things have to get done. So thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that very much.
Go
ahead.
Thank you for inviting me and letting me give my 2 cents on Poolesville Day. Just as a bit of a background, So most of you probably know me, but I've been a physician here in Poolsville since 2006. And I am somewhat involved in Poolsville Day. I am on the board for Poolsville Green. So we do an event for the AV car show. So I work with them on that as well. So I had a few thoughts about Poolsville Day. I do think that there's a way to do it safely. And I do think at this point, based on where COVID is right now, I think it can be done safely. Of course, everything is always up for change, and that can happen. But the biggest issue seems to be just in general is indoor activities and people in very close quarters. When people are outside and well spaced, there's really good evidence that chances of spreading COVID in that manner is in those kind of activities is actually very difficult. So I think most of the activities that we do during Poolsville Day are outside and they're well spaced. We'll have, there are obviously some activities that are in close contact, and those could be a little bit more tricky. So I just had a few points that I wanted to mention. I do think even though it's outside and for the most part people are spaced, when people are at booths and doing other activities, people can come in pretty close contact, and we don't know how many people are vaccinated or not vaccinated, even though in general, Montgomery County and Poolsville are doing pretty well vaccination rate wise. I do think there should be some signage for encouraging people to mask, even though it's outside, just because there's potential for, close contact with other people. The other thing worth considering is asking the vendors to mask. I don't know whether it's possible to require them to mask, but I think for two reasons. One is, they'll be in contact with, people very closely. And the second thing is, I think it would show kind of a positive effect of masking on everybody else. I know when you walk into places and most people aren't masking, some people feel like, well, I don't want to be the odd one out and not mask. I think it would show a positive image for people that are coming that, okay, the vendors are masking, maybe I should mask too, just to be on the safe side. One of the other issues is, I know where the children's activities are, that can get very kind of close. And obviously the kids are not vaccinated. One of the issues is with Delta variant is we are seeing more kids being affected. Luckily, again, in Maryland, it's not as bad as some other states where the vaccination rates are lower. But that is one of my concerns, is some of the kids' activities where, like bounce houses and things like that, where, it's hard to keep kids away from each other. One thought was to, kind of cordon off the kids area, so people who walk in there have to be masked. And the other thought is maybe not having certain activities where you can't really control how many kids are, getting together, like bounce houses and things like that. The other thing was the parade. With the parade, I think most of the groups that come in, I mean, they can be pretty well spaced out, but I know there might be some groups where they have to be really close. I mean, you could always ask them to mask if they can't space themselves out. So that would be another option. So those were kind of my general thoughts. And I talked to Carrie about this over the weekend, but we are considering having a vaccine clinic that day too at my office. We're still giving vaccines. We're just doing 1 day a week at this point because the demand is obviously lower. But if that was something that the town or the Poolsville Day Committee thought would be helpful, we do have my staff and some volunteers who are willing to help out. And that would be just kind of as a walk-in basis, anybody who wants to come in, and then we would have a vaccine clinic maybe like 4 weeks later on a Saturday, just to kind of get people their second shot. So that was another thing that we were considering doing if there was interest for that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I guess this is ultimately Faith's call, but I think it's a great idea.
I want to, if I could just say, I don't know, this may be for Dr. Dugarella or Faith, but Valerie Dickerson contacted me about the possibility of having a vaccination booth or whatever you want to call it for the Poolsville Day. So I contacted Dr. Dugarel, and then Dr. Dugarel is going to do what he can. I also contacted the Montgomery County Department of Health, and I think all this information is already sent to Valerie Dickerson. The Montgomery County Department of Health is planning. I don't know what stages that they're planning is right now, and maybe you already know all this anyway. Is planning to have COVID vaccination something at Poolsville Day. So maybe you already, like I say, maybe you already have more details than I do. I just wanted to make sure that if you didn't, then you know that that's already underway.
Yeah, that's great. I actually didn't know that. Yeah, if the county is already having something, I don't see the point of having two. we don't need competing places. So
Is that confirmed, Jeff?
I don't have the email right in front of me, but the woman who I contacted, and her name is Miss Morales from the DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services. And she gave me the names of the two people who would be organizing, let's put it that way, the vaccination clinic at Poolsville Day. Now, I haven't, I don't want to like overstep what Valerie's doing and what Poolsville Day Committee is doing. I don't want to jump in the middle and mess up your plan. So I organized that, or I made the contact, and then I kind of handed it back to Valerie. So, like I said, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, or, do something that might be misaligned with the Poolsville Day planning. So is it 100% confirmed to my knowledge? I think so, but maybe we could send another email just to triple check it. Is that, you have that knowledge already, Faith?
Correct. At our last Poolsville Day meeting, that was our plan. We came up with that plan, and that's why we reached out to you, because we knew you've done that before and you had a contact.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
On that point, if the county is already having it, I'm happy to just be as a backup. If something falls through, we can probably do it on a pretty quick notice. But yeah, I'm happy to just let the county take care of that, as long as there's somebody there that is offering it. That's great.
Hey, Jim or Ed, do you guys have any questions for Dr. Dugarel about the Poolsville Day breakfast?
Not necessarily, no. We're definitely going to be watching and heeding his warnings, and making sure that we're going to do all the right things that morning. And I also do want to say thanks to Dr. Dugarel for everything he's done for the community, and also for being really our personal health watch officer. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with what's already been said.
All right, well, wonderful. It sounds like we have some good plans, and I really appreciate your expertise, and thanks for coming on tonight to share that with us, and for continuing to support the community, Doctor.
Sure. And anytime, and if any of you need anything else in a way that my practice or I can help, just feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do you want me to just go ahead and sign out? Or do you need me to stay?
Wade, we can't hear you. Wade.
I was just letting him out just now.
Okay.
The screen was up, so I couldn't see you guys either. Okay.
Hey,
Okay, go ahead, Faith.
Oh, Faith, you're gonna talk?
Yes, I was asked to come talk. So
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that we were clear, or maybe you're clear, because like I say, I didn't want to like jump in and interject myself.
Oh, no.
Okay,
No,
cool.
the committee, that's what the committee discussed, and they wanted you. So yeah.
Okay, swell. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. So just briefly reference the Poolsville Day Committee, our protocol so far for the COVID-19, because the health and safety of our volunteers and attendees at Poolsville Day is very important to us. So our plan of action is we come up with what's called our personal protective equipment, which is PPE, and which is going to consist of masks, hand sanitizers, and Clorox wipes. We're going to have that on tables throughout Wellens Commons and along certain areas, along with signage that consists with Montgomery County guidelines, recommending the mask, to hand sanitize and social distancing, reference the children's rides. We're going to have a signage there with the table with the PPE. We're also going to have everything's going to be spaced out. We're going to have tables for the parents so they kind of have areas to go to. We're going to sanitize with some spray after the rides. And reference our vendors, we're going to offer them masks when they come in, sign in. And Kathy's also going to have, when she sends out the notice to them, she's going to have a reference to COVID safety protocols. But the big thing is we're going to have signage, throughout the area. Reference our tents like we always have. We're going to have 3 this year so we can have the tables spaced out. And on the tables, we're going to have wipes along with hand sanitizer. And the week of Poolsville Day, we're going to do a lot of public service announcement recommending masks and hand sanitizing and so forth. And let's see, last, my past years, 10 years as tenure with Poolsville Day, I've worked very closely with the town's plant and water employees who have assisted with Poolsville Day. And I want to say they've done a fantastic job. I mean, we just couldn't do it without them. We really appreciate their time and sacrifice. And I was advised last week that they will not be able to help us on Poolsville Day. So due to the shortage of manpower that is provided by the town, that's going to put a real roadblock on Poolsville Day. So I discussed this with Wade and Carrie earlier, and they're going to let me know something by Wednesday, because if we can't get something resolved, reference the manpower needed for Poolsville Day, we're going to have to think possibly of canceling. So that's why I asked them if they could let me know something by Wednesday, because I would need to know, let our vendors know, the bands know, and so forth. So that's kind of a big roadblock right now. So I just wanted to.
Faith, I was under the
you,
impression, Faith, that we had already worked this out with personnel, that there had been enough personnel that have been that were signed up to take care of business that day. That's not the way it is?
I was told today there was just one person possibly volunteering.
Wade, can you reiterate what's happening?
No, exactly. So I did send an email out with some concerns that some of the guys had about, getting COVID themselves or taking it home to either children or their spouses that have a medical issue or whatever. And I shared that with you. I have talked to Preston a couple times. It seems like the guys have a pretty solid, I put Faith and Preston together. The water department said definitely one volunteered and maybe a couple other may volunteer, but I have not confirmed any of that yet.
Well, I would imagine.
You need you probably need about, Preston told Faith they use 8 or 9 guys. I'm not sure if it's that many, or if that's correct, or exactly what their duties are. But we kind of need to break it down in that aspect to see, okay, well, how can we get it covered? Is there a hybrid model? Do you hire other people? We don't have an answer right now, obviously.
I can't imagine that if we didn't put the word out that we needed volunteers to handle that help on that day, that we couldn't come together as a community and get however many people are needed. I know we can't take the place of the guys that know what they're doing, but maybe just through manpower and coordination, we'd be able to get there. It's hard to imagine canceling Poolsville Day for missing 6 to 8 very important volunteers, but still missing, 6 to 8 of them. But I would imagine we have a ability to overcome that. And I don't know how to do anything, but I'll do it.
In bathrooms.
Is there reluctance? Well, I'm not. I don't mean to diminish, but is there reluctance a COVID issue? Wade?
Yes, I sent you the email directly from Preston.
Yeah, I can't blame any of our guys for making whatever personal decisions they have to make regarding that day. But I just don't want to see us cancel it because of a lack of manpower.
Yeah.
And is that the numbers we're talking about, Faith? About 6 to 8 folks are needed?
Preston told me 8 to 9. I guess Preston would have to give us a list of the tasks they do that day. So, I mean,
Yeah, that would be good to know all of the specific duties.
Wade, I'm wondering if we get some, since we have a little bit of time ahead of us, if we were able to get some volunteers, do you think Wade, do you think Preston might be able to meet with that group of volunteers, explain this is what they do, just kind of like some preliminary training or like a briefing? Would that be helpful?
Sure. I mean, the most part of what they do is they set up roadblocks. Well, Preston's guys usually set them up either the night before they lay them all out, and that morning they set them up, but they man it because people take their cars and they want to move the roadblocks out of the way. So it's not like it's a really, thing to be trained on.
So maybe if we go through and list out the jobs and tasks and what's required to do the job and task, and even come up with a rotating kind of schedule where we need volunteers, maybe that might help.
Yes. Yep. We need to nail down exactly what the duties are. One is definitely having someone with some electrical experience that could, circuits blow and different things happen with the bands and all the heater units from the vendors or whatever. And typically, Preston or some staff that has knowledge of what's going on. That'll be the only one that's kind of a technical aspect to it.
Okay, so hopefully we can come to some kind of plan by Wednesday, by this deadline that Faith needs to know something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll try to have a meeting with everybody tomorrow. We've already been talking about doing it tomorrow. So
You're going to have what tomorrow, Wade?
a meeting with Preston and Kathy and the guys, and it's just kind of,
Oh, so you're going to get a list of what the duties are?
yes.
Okay.
Again, I can't blame anybody for making their own decisions, but we have a month to prepare and develop a volunteer network as well as a set of duties and how to perform those duties. Like if the guys decide that it's not safe for them to come, I understand completely, but in place of that, I want to have everything in writing. I want to have everybody's all duties designated ahead of time. And I also want, if they're available for setup and takedown, where they're not exposing themselves to possible COVID infection, that's how I'd want them to be able to do that too.
Right.
Are you going to do all that, Wade?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
May not get the answer you want, but yes, I'll get all the information.
It's always a possibility. Yep.
If we get a bunch of no's, then we've got a month to find a bunch of yeses.
Okay.
but I'm
Anybody have any?
but I'm asking for a definite plan by Wednesday because we got bands and vendors, we got people to notify. So, I mean, so it's not.
I don't know if you're going to have every answer.
Well, we may not.
by
Yeah,
Wednesday,
if the
but-
answer is no from our staff, we may not have volunteers by Wednesday. But
Mhm.
It seems like it's hard. I'm kind of with Jim on this. It's hard to imagine we can't find,
yeah,
even if we needed 9 and because they haven't been trained, we need 12. It's still hard to imagine we can't find 12 people.
It's a long day. They start at 6
Yeah.
o'clock and they're there to 5 o'clock. They're picking
Well,
up.
so if we can't find volunteers, can we allocate
bathrooms.
some funds to get contractors?
I have no funds in my budget.
How do you guys feel if
I would
if we-
support, if we can't find volunteers and we need to come up with some discretionary funds to help it
Yeah.
go through, I would support that.
Okay.
I can tell you this too. I would also support, and again, respecting those that make the decision not to be there. I would definitely be all in favor of, say, something like $100 bonus for each one of our employees that actually do show up that day and work. I don't want it to be precedent setting. I'm sure it's overtime, so it's probably time and a half to start. But I would definitely consider a bonus, considering this is Poolesville's biggest day, and actually we are taking a risk by even holding it, that we need to have all the components in place that it works out properly and safely. And again, I said the guys. I mean, I don't blame anyone for making a decision. You have an immune compromised person at home. I get it. Why would you do extra? But I would still be in favor of compensating the guys that can make it a little bit extra versus, Martin, I mean, it's a good idea, but not having to pay, if we don't have to pay a contractor, then that might be the way to go about it. And it is a small piece of the puzzle considering their efforts are great, but the money that we might have to expend a little extra for is a small piece of the puzzle compared to the overall.
Yeah.
Poolsville.
And if we're shelling out money, might as well go to our guys if we can.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that.
I volunteer I will give up my pay for the entire day for the team. That's zero, by the way.
Yeah, we figured that.
Just in case anybody didn't know, that's zero.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right,
Right.
thank you, Faith.
All right, thanks for
Thanks for
joining us.
everything.
Yeah,
you do,
thank you,
Faith.
Faith.
Hey, thanks for being
Uh-huh.
here.
I'll be talking to you, Faith.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're moving on to commissioner reports and announcements. Yes, okay, sorry. Just looking at my agenda here. All right, so I'll start out with a couple of announcements. MC-DOT is enacting a long-term ride-free program for seniors and persons with disabilities. And so this is something that they had begun really at the start of COVID, but they just announced that they're going to be continuing that indefinitely, and that that does include the ride-on service. So I just wanted to mention that. UPN, Up County Prevention Network. I've been serving as a bit of a de facto liaison to them, and they've been beginning to embark on a project to do a community mural in town, sort of a coming out of the craziness and disconnected last year and a half. And they're currently in talks with the IOF to possibly create one on the side of their building. So hopefully we'll hear more on that soon. And then I also wanted to unfortunately mention the passing of Gwen Reese, a great community member and you know, a lot of our dear friends. She grew up in Sugar Land, which is a community formed by former slaves after the Civil War. And she devoted her life basically to preserving the heritage of Sugar Land. She was the president of the Sugar Land Ethnohistory Project. And I know she touched so many lives. And I had the privilege of joining a group of Montgomery County women a couple of years ago to take a tour of the Ag Reserve. And we specifically spent some time with Gwen in that historic church at the Sugar Land community. And I actually learned that at that church is the site of the first interracial marriage in the state of Maryland, which I thought was pretty neat. So I just wanted to offer my own condolences to all of those whose lives she touched. And I wonder, I just kind of throw that out there, you know, if there might be some way that our body could honor her more, maybe a posthumous proclamation of some kind, possibly through the naming of a road or a park in her honor. Just thought I might put that out there.
A great idea.
If that's something that others are interested in, I can talk more with staff about it and agendize that for another meeting.
Yeah, I think I support that. And I hate that I was out of town when they had the services for her.
I know, as was I.
So yeah, that was a tough one.
Yes, very much so. Okay, thank you. So in terms of events, unfortunately, the staff did decide to cancel our last Friday on the Commons, basically just out of an overabundance of caution due to the changes in COVID rates and the county regulations changing. As you just heard, Poolsville Day is on, and you know, I think we're all on the same page. We all want it to be on. We need a good Poolsville Day this year, and we can have one safely. And so again, that's on September 18th. The Economic Development Committee is meeting this Thursday, and the topic is to discuss any input that our group can give to the Planning Commission on the master plan rewrite. So that's Thursday night. I was able to attend a few farewell events this summer. One for Kathy Matthews, who was our Up County Regional Director. She retired after about 50 years with Montgomery County, which is pretty impressive. And she's certainly been quite the advocate and a partner here for us in our neck of the woods. And I've personally found her friendship to be so important, and her frank advice and mentorship really invaluable. So thanks to Commissioner Brown and former Commissioner Jerry Kay for attending, as well as our Up County Advisory Board member Amanda Franklin and our Fair Access Chair Lee Coing, who all attended the event as well. And so I know we all wish her the best, and congratulations to Greg Wims, who's now assumed her role. He has some pretty big shoes to fill, but I know he'll also be a great partner for Poolesville. And then I was also invited to the home of Ike Leggett, the former county executive, for a farewell for Dr. Darian Pollard, who's the outgoing, well, she's already left the building, president of Montgomery County Community College, and she made a move to Nevada State, and I know she'll really be missed as well. And we certainly welcome the interim president, who is Charlene Mickens Dukes. And then lastly, White's Ferry. So last Friday, Delegate Hidalgo held one of the many meetings that we've been having since the White's Ferry closure began. In fact, we were remembering how the first time both he and our District 1 council member, Andrew Friedson, showed up to discuss the urgency of the issue. Remember, it was at our New Year's Eve meeting. And we've really been meeting ever since then, bi-weekly sometimes, some months. And this was the first time to have a meeting in person. And so we did it at White's Ferry itself. Chuck Kuhn, the current owner of White's Ferry, as well as Herb Brown joined us. And MC-DOT plans to put out a press release tomorrow about plans moving forward. The twin studies that Loudoun and Montgomery counties have been performing should be done by the end of September. And one important thing to note is that the website for signing up to get more information about what's happening with the ferry is now live. And I know that we've put that up on our website and our Facebook page. And then this Wednesday, we'll be holding the forum at Town Hall, 6:30. And that will be a great opportunity for Chuck Kuhn to present his vision for the ferry itself. And of course, we're asking anyone who attends to be prepared to socially distance, and there will be mask wearing inside. And then we're also live streaming the event. And some other folks who are now going to be attending that forum are let's see, the Loudoun County Attorney, Leo Rogers, as well as Delegate Hidalgo himself. And a representative from Andrew Friedson's office will be joining us. Unfortunately, Andrew Friedson will be out of town for Mako. And then as well as Hannah Henn, who is the Deputy Director for Policy at MC-DOT. So, and then Brown himself said that he would be attending on Wednesday. So hopefully that'll be a great forum, and hopefully folks will come out for it. Okay, that was a lot. So let's move on to Ed. Would you like to go next?
Sure. So just in terms of the Sustainability Poolesville Committee, they're working hard to put together some recommendations to the Planning Commission for the comprehensive plan. So a lot of focus is on that right now. And then when we get to, I'll let Jim talk about the Fair Access Committee, and I'll chime in as needed.
Okay, great, thanks. You want to go ahead, Jim?
Yeah, so the Fair Access Committee, Carrie already gave us the the Fair Access Committee is hosting this White's Ferry Forum here at Town Hall this Wednesday coming up, starting at 6:30, running from 6:30 to 8. It's going to be live streamed somewhere. So we'll let you know, and watch all the Facebook pages. You'll see that you'll get a chance to see this from home, but there's definitely still going to be room for you to come into Town Hall. We're definitely going to be limiting our seating a little bit just to make sure that we've got some social distancing in place. But it is surprising and it's exciting to see the breadth and the depth of the people that will be coming to talk about White's Ferry. As you guys know, there have been, Carrie's been attending meetings that were kind of held close to the vest, I'll say. But this is going to get a chance to peel back the onion and talk a little bit more about in depth with all the players that are involved with this. Not just the DOT members from both sides, but you're talking about the Loudoun County attorneys. You're talking about various politicians from our side. Of course, we're going to be having, I'm super excited to have Chuck Kuhn come in and give us his vision for the ferry and introduce himself to the community at large. So this is going to be a big deal, and I'm very excited about it. It's taken a lot of work to get here, but here we are going to be at 6:30 on this Wednesday. And I said, pay attention. It'll be on my Facebook page, other Facebook pages about where you can watch this event. And also, too, so we're encouraging people to come in. There will be testimony from regular residents there. And we'll also be taking some questions and answers to some of the various parties that are going to be in attendance. So if you're looking for the straight scoop, this is going to be a great opportunity for you. And, you know, the straight scoop's important, but everybody knows the most important thing is to get the ferry operational again. And I can't wait for it to get past this bureaucratic phase of hopefully solution developing, but we're ready for this thing to get opened up. We had a warning last December that it was going to close. And here we are coming up on September and we still don't have any ferry service. And if you've ever tried to go to anywhere west and the ferry's not operating and the Route 28 bridge is closed, I mean, we're isolated. That's not good. So we've got to be able to get this, hopefully at the forum, we'll get a chance for our residents to hear some good things about how the future is going to look. That's first thing from Fair Access. Of course, we have our breakfast on Poolsville Day, big day. For Poolsville Day, we will be holding our breakfast for all elected officials and proposed elected officials as well coming up. That's the day and the time that we advocate for Poolsville and the Poolsville region. So Poolsville Day breakfast is going to be a big deal. Again, we're taking precautions, but basically we're grabbing everybody that's important and they're going to be in one room and we're going to talk about what Poolsville and the Up County needs. Hopefully we'll get to extract a few promises out of them like we did the last time. And then everybody's going to be free to march in the parade and, you know, kick the day off well. Link gave some great testimony to the Planning Commission about the Fair Access's opinion and direction for the next master plan. And I'll send it to everybody here. And if anybody is listening or watching, just shoot me an email and I'll definitely send you a copy of his draft testimony. It was great testimony. It really talks about the direction that Fair Access would like to see the town progress in. Some of the things that we've really not moved forward with, streetscape. We want to see West Willard Road not West Willard, but yeah, West Willard and Westerly Road get improved. There's going to be things on this list that touch all Poolsvillians and Up County people. Everything from as small as paving something to as large as putting a bubble on the pool or building a community center, things that we need to advocate for. So we're going to be looking for your help out there. And we'll be, as I said, if anybody wants to see that testimony, shoot me an email and I'll send it back out to you. Last but not least, we're also going to be making a recommendation to the commissioners. We haven't finished putting it together yet because we're getting input from all sides. But as you guys know, there's going to be 2 new council members added to the Montgomery County council member staff group and 2 more elected officials coming. And we want to help designate how we can get that representation. We've had great representation with Andrew Friedson, heads and tails above wherever we've been in the past. We love the relationship, but we have to face up to the fact Andrew's probably not going to be our council member after these districts get redistricted. So, and these 2 new districts are made. So we need to pay attention to this. We're actually going to put together our own recommendation to the commissioners. Commissioners are going to be allowed to sit there and ponder it. And then we're going to ask that the commissioners submit it as testimony towards as they start trying to figure out how these districts are going to be broken down. So it's a big deal for Poolesville because Andrew Friedson's been amazing, and we're going to have new amazing, most likely coming up. That's it.
Well, Jim, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
One of them is, I saw, and this is a Facebook stuff, so apologies if it's not correct, but I saw on Facebook that there's going to be kind of a pre-meeting on Wednesday at Locals.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, we're not limiting attendance to it, but we are going to have as many of the local politicians as well as some of the people that will be at the meeting at Locals, and they're going to open up special for us at from 5 to 6:30.
Okay.
And definitely not closed off to the public by any means. We're just going to be a little space limited potentially. And really it's just more of a hi, how are you doing? Get to know you a little better before we go into our 6:30 forum meeting. So thanks for bringing it up. I really appreciate it, Jeff.
Yeah, and then the other thing is also related to White's Ferry and Randy Davis. I don't know if Randy Davis invited an organization to take videos today, but due to the rain, that didn't happen. And then Randy Davis mentioned again, and I forget the name of the organization, so apologies, is going to be there on Wednesday at the town hall. Is that correct?
I don't know I don't think he is the conduit for the information. So I'm just waiting for him to publicly announce when it's going to be. And then yes, there's people that are making a documentary on White's Ferry, and they're going to be looking for the public's input. And I said, I'll just be waiting for my cue like everybody else from Randy about when and if we're supposed to show up and potentially be interviewed and to talk about how the closure of White's Ferry has in effect shut down our main street.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
All right, Jeff, do you want to go ahead with your?
Oh, yes, I do. Well, yeah, in fact, the meeting from the Parks Board took place way back in July. Anyway, and my notes contain some names of some young people, so I'm just going to substitute the word young people instead of their name. Anyway, this is regarding the skate park, and a young person, 14, proposed enlarging the skate park. And so the Parks Board requested that John Strong, or I guess requested that the commissioners ask John Strong to determine the feasibility, stormwater runoff, and these kinds of things, and to provide an update back to the Parks Board regarding expanding the skate parks, the skateboard park. Another thing about the skateboard park had to do with the painting. So one of the original, I'm not going to say the person's name, right, because they're minor. A young person needs to take the next step regarding the type of, I guess this has the builder of the skate park has the correct type of paint, and probably Mr. Strong knows more about this than I do. And then they're going to plan to determine the exact square footage so that they understand how much paint is needed. And then the Parks Board also asked this young person to come back with, and they gave him some idea of murals from the Gaithersburg skate park. So the young person is going to, I guess, come back with several designs, for the updating of the skate park. Also, the swimming team, when they're called the Poolesville Piranhas, I believe, they requested a permit for Stevens Park for up to 150 participants, and that was approved. There was also an election of officers. So Doug McKinney was elected as the president of the Parks Board, and Jeff McIntyre was elected as the vice president of the Parks Board. There was also a petition to add speed humps on the Wooten. So Wooten from Norris, and then I guess the direction would be east towards Fisher. Is that east? Yeah, I think it is. And so the Parks Board is recommending to the commissioners that they ask Mr. Strong, so your name's going to come up a lot here, Mr. You probably already know this, to look at the feasibility, the cost, and the timing of placing speed humps. I guess speed humps are multiplying around the town. Also, there was an organization called Blue Cadet. Levi Hesband's band wanted to organize music for the group to play at Waylands Commons. This is back in the 31st of July, and that permit was approved. And that's it. That's all my notes.
Excellent.
Let
Thank
me-
you.
Let me just add, the plans for the skate park were supplied to both of the young people. So they have those, and I haven't heard anything more.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Martin.
So we met last Wednesday and the planning commission, that is. We had a couple things on the agenda. Poolsville High School preliminary site plan, which we heard looked good. It was approved. We had a Fisher Avenue site plan for a lot that's between 1421 and 11915 Fisher Avenue. That was a preliminary site plan, and it was tentatively approved, conditionally approved. As Jim alluded to, we met with we had Link come in and give us the Fair Access Committee's master plan submission. I think, Wade, wasn't HMD there also as well, or was that 2 meetings ago?
No, Maureen McConnell was, no,
Yeah,
that was
Maureen-
2 meetings ago. That was a work session.
Okay, so yeah, and then those were the things that we covered in the planning commission meeting. Wade's going to talk to you tonight about the consultant that for the master plan that the planning commissioners all unanimously voted to approve the award the contract to, and then we will have to take that up tonight. So that's all I've got.
Martin, has there been any update on the Willards property next to town hall?
No, we haven't heard anything from them in I don't know, it's been a couple of months, hasn't it, Wade?
Yep.
Right. And Wade, is there any update on that?
No, I don't know if they're just finalizing stuff or just waiting for a new manager to come in so they can then open up the door. I'm not sure. They probably
Okay.
want good continuity with, once they start a process, to be carried through all the way.
While we're talking about reports, Jeff, for the Parks Board, I have a suggestion. So I know that we're going to do a streetscape here in the hopefully not too distant future, but something I think should be possibly looked at up at locals, like in terms of a crosswalk or some kind of a thing, because I see a lot of people crossing and it's kind of a weird intersection. You have like a few cars coming back from behind locals, and you have the Fisher Avenue. I don't know if we could maybe think about a temporary crosswalk there or a, you know, I don't know how it would play into like any future plans, but I think that there's, you know, it's a place that has a potential for a problem, I think.
There is a crosswalk from like the gas station over to Bassett's.
There is, but the problem is, you know, when people park, like, for example, I see a lot of people parking at, you know, Anytime Fitness and walking.
Yeah.
And
They run across.
Should they walk up to the intersection and do it right? Yes, they
Yeah,
should. But
yeah,
do
yeah.
they? No, they never do. You also have some people walk up Fisher Avenue and then cut behind Old Town Hall, like across from the tire store.
Yeah.
You know, that way too. So I don't know what could be done realistically, but something maybe to think about.
So I think in the master plan, there is, I'm not the master plan, but the streetscape plan. In both streetscape plans, out in front of I'm going to call it the old bank, that there was a safety island that was going to be put in there.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Was there ever the idea to have a crosswalk across Fisher there, though?
No, not mid block. You typically don't want to put a crosswalk and invite people to do that across mid block.
You may want to, it may be worth looking at doing something there until that island can be built. Just because, you know, they're getting busier and busier, and there's a lot of traffic, a lot of foot traffic up there. And then there's a lot of car traffic as well. And, you know, those things can sometimes have a bad mix. So.
And what is the safety island?
It's a raised area for the pedestrian to retreat to, so that when you're right now, if you're just walking across the roadway, it's a very large expanse of area to come across, and a safety island gives them an ability to onto a curved area to retreat to. It gives them a little bit of protection.
And what were you mentioning? The location would be by the old town hall between the auto repair shop?
Yeah, it would be, as I recall in that plan, there was a safety island area out in front of the Old Town Hall that's in the Aero plan. That's a different type of structured pavement section, and also a slightly raised curb, I believe it was. And then there was going to be maybe a possibility of some planters out front.
It's kind of in like a triangular shape, right, John? Isn't it like?
That's correct. Yeah.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't HMD own that little triangle of land?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Has anyone approached them? Are they on board with this? Do we know?
Do not know at this point.
Okay.
But I agree with what Martin's saying, that can be potentially hazard area there now with lots of people there on the weekends and possibly throughout the week as locals, opens more.
And Jay, you
I
can
wonder if that would be worth, looking
Jay,
into.
you might want to
crosswalks.
weigh into this a little bit, in that if you present it as a crosswalk, then there's certain protections that have to be in place. And you may, as
Right.
it's a town roadway, you're inviting people to cross in an area
Right.
that may not be safe. And I don't know that for sure until.
Right. So
until you do
maybe
surveys.
it's not a crosswalk, but maybe there's other options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything, but it does seem like a potentially hazardous place to put a crosswalk too, but
Right.
maybe you would know of other options for that area.
It would have to be looked at, and it may be some warning lights or something along that line, pedestrians ahead or something along those lines, sort of like what we do
Signage.
at the other crosswalks.
Maybe just signage alone is helpful.
Possibly.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up though, Martin.
Just in the meantime, we could probably do some PSAs about using
Yeah.
the crosswalk at the corner. And so it's just part of just resending that message out.
Yeah, I'd really like to have those blinking lights like we have near Wayland Commons up by Anytime Fitness and Bassett's and the little barber shop and the gas station. I think that would
At the
already.
existing, Jeff, are you saying at the existing crosswalks?
Yeah, exactly. At the existing crosswalks. Yeah.
And I tell you what, like I'm just ranting for a second. I can't wait till that streetscape is done and the Willard property gets integrated. And there's a place to walk on the other side of Fisher, because that little area in front of the cleaners that the old
Yeah.
planning commission affectionately called the notch of death or whatever it was.
So
Like
there-
I walk that all the time, and like you could high five the mirrors of the cars coming by. I mean, there's
Yeah.
not much room there. If somebody was texting and not paying attention, I mean that's a spot that's a little bit sketchy. So
Well, let's make sure that we agendize this for our next meeting. Potentially other options for that one area where people are crossing.
Well, before we.
Signage and like Ed was saying, PSAs for, reminding people to cross where the crosswalk already exists.
I think before
Whether or
we
not
do,
we have a plan for crosswalk lights there or not. I can't remember if that was a area that we had talked
it was
about.
not. No, the only areas that we approved crosswalk lights on are the two where they already are, as far as I know. I'd love to see them down at what's the name of your street, Wooten, Carrie?
Mhm.
I'd love to see them down there too, except that there's going to be a roundabout there at some point. So putting them in would be kind of a moot point unless they could be moved once the roundabout was installed or whatever. But that's another intersection, I think, where there's a lot of traffic, a lot of foot traffic.
there's a lot of school children
Oh,
are
school
crossing right
stuff.
there.
So
Yeah.
that intersection could benefit greatly from that. As far as putting flashing lights in up by locals, off the top of my head, I would hesitate to do that because I don't know, once everything's up and running and there's some streetscape happening, like I don't know what the pattern's gonna be, where people are gonna be walking, what's gonna be happening. It seems like that might be a better wait to see before spending the street light, the flashing lights are something like 60 grand or something. They're not cheap. So we might want to wait there. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Let's let our experts talk amongst themselves and come
Yeah,
back.
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say perhaps we could just let the experts and let that committee work through those things and just maybe give an overall charge, which is taking a look at the different walkways that might need upgrades, and let them go through, figure that out, see what needs to be done to increase pedestrian safety. But I think we gotta make sure we don't dig too much into the weeds and get into operational things.
Yeah, I'd like to leave it to our engineers.
Yeah, for sure. And not to jump the gun, but once we have a new town manager who's here and comfortable, I'd love for that person to explore the possibility of grants for the streetscape, like to start to look into the grant money so we can maybe start to move forward with some of these things, such as the roundabout. But anyway, that's for another day.
Martin,
All right, let's move on.
real quick, Martin, I'm going to give you a ring to find out what time periods locals is the most busy, so that I can kind of get a sense of how the pedestrian traffic moves.
Okay, I'll send the owner now an email and ask him, because I don't, he knows better than I do. So I'll find out and give me a call.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
Great. So next on our agenda is approval of minutes. We have minutes from the meeting from July 6th, approval of 2 closed session minutes, July 6th as well, and then August 9th. Does anyone have any amendments or any discussion of any of those minutes? And if not, does anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Jeff. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we don't have anyone joining us for public comment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. We have no old business this evening. The first item on our new business is our town manager contract. And Jay, are you presenting this?
I can give you a overview. This is the standard ICMA, International City County Manager contract, that is used all around the country, and then it was modified to affect certain changes that you want, certain regional changes as well. This was the draft that was presented to you all, and there were certain changes that you had requested through Wade that were incorporated. Along with the offer of employment, Wade submitted the contract, and there was very minor negotiations over minor points. There wasn't anything really important. The changes were made, and so you have the final contract in front of you. Since you already authorized the authorization for employment in your closed session, which is reflected in your minutes, what you're doing tonight is you're ratifying this contract because it's already a done deal. You're just ratifying it on the town's part.
Did they go ahead and make an announcement of who it is also?
Yes, I mean, so that's leading up to the big surprise, but what you should probably do is say that you're ratifying the contract with, and then maybe give a little background on the person you picked and things like that.
Wait, did you bring the drum roll machine?
Been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has been.
Wade, do you want to go ahead and continue that then?
No, go ahead. It's all you.
Do we have to make a motion to approve the contract first?
So should I read a portion of the contract?
I think that what you should probably do is say that you, as a commission, went through a little bit of process, talk about the process so it's memorialized, and say how you did the final interviews and that who the selected candidate was, what their start date is, and that you're having an employment contract with them. And then you can take a motion to ratify that contract.
So we have offered employment for the position of town manager to Tony Tomasello. And he comes to us after having quite a lengthy career in city government. most notably working for the city of Gaithersburg for, I believe, 9 years he was there. So we're really excited. We're really excited to bring Tony on. He is signing his agreement with us to start employment on August 30th, which is fantastic. And we really owe a lot of thanks to a lot of people, starting with Jay and Wade here with us today. Your help and expertise, we were really able to go through this process professionally, and we really thank you for your help in this process. And I also wanted to note that we utilized a kind of de facto human resources committee of community members that helped us sift through many resumes at the start of this process, rate them for us, made recommendations to this commission in terms of just the hiring process. That was really invaluable information. So we thank that committee. And we really had a three-pronged process. We met with 5 individuals, and then narrowed it down to 2 finalists. And we had both of those finalists meet with all of our staff, with our department heads. And so we thank our staff for taking the time to give us their feedback. And that was also a really important part of our process. And then we had final interviews with the commissioners, with our 2 finalists. Thankfully, we were in the position of having 2 very capable people be our finalists. And I know I'm personally excited about Tony coming on with us. And very soon, August 30th is his first day. Would anyone else like to say anything else about this?
Just reiterate what you said, Carrie. Like thanks very much to the volunteer board of people that helped us screen the applications. That was really helpful. Wade was, of course, invaluable in this process, and just everything he's helped to do in the meantime until we get somebody up and running. My fellow commissioners, you guys did a great job. I mean, we worked well as a team, I thought, and Jay, of course, for the legal advice, and Bobby helped there too, and the staff, and anybody I missed, I apologize, but it's a really important thing. It's a really big deal, and it took a little while, but we got it done, and I think we got a really good person in here, really solid person.
And this is Jeff. I just want to also kind of emphasize what the other folks have said, especially the citizen. I refer to them as the citizen committee, and they did the heavy lifting, in my opinion, because they took 29 and they whittled it down to really the top 6, and they made it very clear who the top 3 were, or who the top few were, and we took their information directly to heart, and what with that, we didn't try and second guess anybody. So the citizen committee did just a fantastic job. I'm so glad that those folks stepped up with their HR expertise and knowledge of the town and all that. So that was just super duper helpful. And Wade, there's like a long list of accolades going your direction for pretty much everything. So I can't thank you enough personally as well. So it worked out really well, and we're very happy. We didn't always agree on everything, but I think we came out with the best result for the town of Poolesville, and very excited to see Tony again in person and to greet him and, kind of get him underway. Thanks.
Hey, while we're providing kudos, I just want to make sure we recognize Bobby for stepping in early on and then wait for, or if I've sent you an email, you know where I stand, but I'll publicly acknowledge your hard work and dedication and just say thank you. And then Bobby, if you're watching or watching a recording, Bobby, want to thank you for stepping up in the early days to help us get to this point. And then for Tony, I am excited to have Tony come on board. I think he brings a great deal of experience coming from Gaithersburg, and that I think he'll be a perfect fit for us at this stage of where we are.
Okay, so do we need to make any formal votes at this point?
Yep, go Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to ratify the contract. So somebody can make a motion to ratify and go through the steps.
Would someone like to make a motion to ratify the employee contract?
This is Jeff. I'll make a motion to ratify the employee contract. Is that what the words were?
I'll second his motion.
Resolution. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. So we have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Excellent.
We're going to have a little welcome on the 30th.
So
I say, let's have a little welcome on instead of yesterday. Let's have a little welcome on the 30th.
what is our plan now in terms of press release and announcement?
Really, we don't have a plan in place yet.
Why don't we put a plan in place?
I know I did talk to Link Hoeing, and Link Hoeing is actually going to write an article and then do something for the paper. I know that. I talked to him today. So that's going to take place. That's going to be a good announcement right there. But we could do a news flash with a little bio or something.
And I think that'd be great. The news flash or like something on social media. And then when Seth started, we had like a little meet and greet. I know with COVID things are weird, but maybe we could do like an outdoor meet and greet or something like that. A welcome kind of thing. If everyone thinks that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think maybe do something in the shell outside, just a welcome, give him a nice welcome. And then perhaps maybe get his input as well in terms of what information we might want to put inside of at least on our town page and then our town Facebook page. Just releasing that information out there.
And Wade, is this something we could use Van Eperen for, or Foundry, in terms of the press release? Because I think we could really get some real press going. With
Yeah,
this
because she can contact MC Media and other places like that. So sure. Yeah, I get a hold of Laura.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next on our agenda is Comprehensive Planning Consultant Proposal Award.
Okay. So, we've been planning this for a while, working through the process. On June 21st, we released a RFP for a planning consultant to assist the Planning Commission, mostly in doing the public outreach portion of the master plan, which is doing the surveys, charrettes, public meetings, and to get all the public input we need from all the stakeholders. At the July 28th planning meeting, we took a look at the two proposals that came in. They came in by the July 19th deadline we had submitted, and both were very, very well-known and very good companies. So I made a matrix up and I've supplied that to you guys. A second. Okay, and I did a breakdown of the two companies, Wallace Montgomery and Mead and Hunt. And like I said, they're both good. They very close as far as prices go and everything, but Wallace Montgomery did stand out as far as the details, as far as the research they knew about the town. They talked about our current master plan, and the information that was in the proposal was far better as far as the quantity and quality of stuff. So you guys had a chance to look at both the proposals. I sent those out to you also. And the planning commission felt the same way as my review, and my recommendation was to go with Wallace Montgomery, and unanimously, the planning commission felt the same way. So the first part of this is just to do the public outreach. And then the second part of the RFP was really a RFQ, qualifications for going further if the planning commission needs a specific section that they need help with as far as writing it up, detailing it, using the survey inputs. So we have a line item in the budget for $75,000. And the initial contract is only for $22,000 with a 17 for additional totals. Some of those totals we've done already, some of those additional tasks. So we're going to be able to pick and choose kind of what we want as far as doing that, like sending out the letters for some of the stakeholders, the Chamber of Commerce and those things. You know, we've already kind of jumped on some of those deals, so we're not going to spend all of those funds. But then we have, you know, adequate amount to be able to go through the whole process. So along with the Planning Commission, staff does also recommend approval for the Wallace Montgomery proposal.
Hey, Wade, I have both of these, and I went through and highlighted a bunch of stuff on both of them. And there were definitely things I liked about both of them.
Yep.
You know, Wallace Montgomery, they already work with Clark Azar, so they already know probably Mr. Strong, I'm guessing, yeah. And I highlighted a whole bunch of stuff in Wallace Montgomery, right? So I'm not gonna go over, I can go over that with you later if you want, but maybe you don't want it. The other thing is, on the Mead and Hunt, they were the only ones that had experience in Montgomery County on land use and transportation. The other thing I really liked about them, I'm going to turn the page here. I got more stuff highlighted. And the words that they used were, I thought, really on track for what we were looking for. Land use, development regulations, water and wastewater, historic preservation, cultural resources, and transportation. And those, every single word was like hit the target in the middle. And this was the Mead and Hunt proposal. Now, certainly you guys did more, maybe you guys did more research on this than I did. I'm just saying I would have come to a different answer.
Sure. I think it was some of the typos and the quality of the proposal was really kind of shied away from the Mead and Hunt.
On Mead and Hunt?
There was, yes. Since we're writing a document, that was very important to the Planning Commission.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, yeah, you guys must have studied this more than I did. I went through and highlighted quite a number of things in both of the proposals. I can't say it's not like, in my opinion, one was horrible and one was fabulous. I thought they were both good, and I'm just saying the one from Mead and Hunt really, in my, you know, every arrow hit the center of the target. So okay. Would you like my highlights?
No.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. It did take me quite a while to go through all that stuff, so I'll have to show it to the cat.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the Planning Commission did take your recommendations and sounds like they voted unanimously to recommend them. So
yeah, they had all reached their where they were going to vote before they even came to the meeting. We started discussing it, and everybody was exactly the same, right down the line.
Okay.
And those guys do their research. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So,
and Jeff,
is there any other discussion? Go ahead.
Jeff, I would say too, when I read through the Wallace Montgomery proposal, it's they hit some of those buzzwords as well when we look at infrastructure and resource conservation, economic development, environmental protection, and so that's on page 6. It's I thought that this one was a very well put together proposal.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I agree. They both were. Yeah, I like both of them. Yeah. I just thought one was a bit more Montgomery County oriented than the Hunt and Mead than Wallace Montgomery. But I respect the decision that the other folks made. So one good job.
Wade, do you think you could just put in like a sentence what was your overall kind of pushed you over the edge to choose them?
The quality of the proposal and the quality of the samples that they gave us of stuff they had produced. I
Uh-huh.
think that was over the top, one of the biggest things.
Mhm.
There were several samples in there of stuff they had done. And when I could recommendations, actually both companies had great recommendations. Both are great. They both
Right.
were really qualified, so it was a good problem to have again. Same as the other, so.
And I see that you've worked with them as well, John, in the past.
Clark Azar has, yeah. I don't know.
Our office.
Oh, your office. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was definitely a plus for Wallace Montgomery to have already familiarity with Clark and Azar.
Mhm.
And I did talk to someone besides John at Clark Azar to get a reference.
Okay, swell.
Anyone
we'll need a
like
mo-
to?
Yeah, we need a
entertain any
motion to
motions?
approve the contract.
Oh,
Does your contract have a number? I don't have it in front of me.
It's just the Wallace Montgomery proposal.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the Wallace Montgomery proposal as written.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Ed. All right, we have a first and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
can I officially abstain? No, can I officially say
Yes.
the other one? Okay.
You can,
I don't want to be a stick in the mud, but I like the other one better. So, okay.
Jeff, what's the reason for abstaining then? So it should be a yes or no unless you got some.
No, I
real
wasn't
reason.
quite sure what the proper protocol was. So I would have preferred to vote for the like I say, meet and hunt, because I read this over really. I read both of them over, and I highlighted like pages and pages of stuff. And I thought we were going to like review this in detail, but
Well, you have 5 planning commissioners that recommended it, and Wade thought it was the better company.
no, I respect
with,
that,
so
absolutely. Yeah, I
That's
don't.
why for me it's an easy vote.
I don't claim to be the.
but he does have the,
Wizard of
choice,
Oz
right? He can vote no or abstain, isn't that correct?
Yeah, so I want to vote for meet and hunt.
So
but
are you voting no or?
Oh, yes, I guess I'm
Abstaining.
voting no.
From the
Correct.
hand.
Thank you. Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
thank you.
I don't claim to be the Wizard of Oz by any stretch of, I just read them both and I like the other one.
Understood, Jeff.
Fair
Thank you.
enough.
No
Thanks for the
problem.
clarity.
Jeff, because I read through both of them also. Was
Yeah.
there any points that you wanted to discuss or bring up?
Well, I kind of already did, and it's a little bit under the water or over the bridge or whatever they call that stuff, where the water flows under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
It is 8:22, so
I didn't want if you
you're happy to have coffee and go over my yellow highlighting.
All right. I was just going to say if I would if you had some things that you felt strong about or wanted to discuss, I would support the discussion to do that.
Me too.
I want to just vote for the sake of time and agreement. But if there's something that maybe you see something I didn't see,
Yeah.
is there something in particular that really stands out for?
There were. I mean, I think I may have mentioned it because I mentioned my important points. The
the
most
language with
at-
some of the
at the
language
beginning.
that was used.
Yeah, land use, water, waste, because these 2 points are like monumentally important to Poolsville, water and wastewater. And the other point here, historic preservation, cultural, this is stuff that we talk about every time. And there were, both of them, of course, are going to talk about economic development, these kind of things, and transportation, because that's kind of generic-y things. But these really hit like I say, the arrow in the bullseye sort of stuff. And that's what I liked. It felt to me like they understood us. And they also talked, this was the only one that talked about the voice of the younger residents, right? And that's super important because, we're all the future things in the streetscape are going to occur over time. And the younger folks need to have more of a representation, because right now it's like us talking and we're not young, speaking for myself. So this was the only one that kind of mentioned that, in terms of, then they both talked about, of course, very strong public engagement. But this is the one that mentioned specifically mentioned what they call speak outs. I guess that's like a specific opportunity for the young folks to to express their inputs. Yeah. So things like that. And like I say, I thought both proposals were strong. This one just kind of felt to me like it was more targeted toward Poolsville. Yeah, but I'm not going to second guess the Planning Commission or the other folks on this call tonight about what their analysis came to the conclusion of. So, I'm not I'm not going to worry about it too much.
Okay.
I think a good choice was made. I'm not worried about that.
All right, just wanted
But
to
thanks for the
make sure-
opportunity to speak up, Ed. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Just wanted to make sure that you didn't, that you had the opportunity to convey those points so that we can listen to those.
Yeah.
All right, bud.
All right, thank you, everybody. The motion did pass,
Yes.
4-1.
Yeah.
And thanks for everybody's work on that, especially the Planning Commission. And next on our new business is FY 2021 closeout.
Hey, I'm going to share my screen, and ironically enough, this brings us full circle from where we started. We
Great.
did the FY 20 closeout a few months ago.
Okay.
So this is the time that it should be done. We close out our books on the 30th. We get the bank statements and different things back in, and then we reconcile the books, and then Bob and I put this together, and everything's in the auditor's hands. And so this is exactly when you should expect it.
Hey, Wade,
Yes, sir.
this is 31 pages of more numbers than I can shake a stick at. I tried to digest this, but I failed, I guess so.
I should sit down with you sometime, because I think once you look at it a couple times.
Yeah, a couple million times.
No, a couple times, and I walk you through it, I think it'll be easier to understand.
Yeah, because I'm sure there are some, I need that, and I'd rather have it from you because you know it. But you're not actually physically here, right? You're pretending to be in the town hall, but you're not.
Yeah, you mean he's not in town hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not playing with
So
the
I
fire.
need some help with this, Wade,
In the interest of,
because
time.
this isn't going to go away, right? We're going to have budget after budget after budget, so I can't
yeah, I think
claim
that,
to be ignorant forever and ever.
yeah, I think Jeff, in the interest of time, I'd like to make a suggestion that we let Wade give his
Yeah, I agree.
presentation tonight,
Because this could be a
and-
3-hour conversation.
and that you could schedule a time to meet with Wade. I think I don't want to speak for Wade, but I think he would be amenable to kind of
Definitely.
walking you through it. He's certainly done it with me before, and it's very helpful.
Are you going to walk through this with Tony, Wade?
Yeah, oh, yes. We have several things that Jay, John, and we're going to be having several different meetings with him. We have a lot to unload, basically, to get him to understand where we are with a lot of projects and things going on. So yes,
Can I be invited?
possibly. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the commissioners feel about that.
Well, I was asking you.
Well, they all might want to be invited, and then it becomes a problem.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, just invite me then. That'll solve it.
Just don't tell
Go ahead,
anybody
Wade.
else.
Go ahead, Wade. We'll be here all night.
You guys take this conversation offline.
Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe. There we go. Come on. Okay. So typically, it's going to start out and talk about the general fund, which is the heavyweight of the whole budget. It carries everything from the capital projects, the general operations, debt service. And there was a grant to the water and sewer wastewater fund. It does carry the capital for the water also, but it operated just over 4.2 million. Water and wastewater, smaller fund, enterprise supposed to be 1.5 million is where it operated, and it did require this $31,880 grant to balance. So the good thing is the FY 2021 budget closed out positive balance of $585,000, a little bit over that. And that's probably the highest close that we've had in a long time. And there were several factors that I'll get into of why it was so high.
Hey, Wade, what is the budget minus capital improvement?
Right around 2 million.
Okay, thanks.
So let's talk about general revenue first. I always like to throw this chart up here. And what's kind of neat about it is property taxes used to be up, what, 45, 47% of the revenue stream. And now the income tax is catching up with it. And this is the closest it's ever been right here. So people in Poolesville are doing very well. And you see the breakdown of the revenue streams. But your two biggest ones, property tax and income tax, what fund mostly everything. So let's take a
if the Montgomery County Council was to agree with the request from the Maryland Municipal League to reimburse the municipalities, which slice would increase?
So that would be the revenue sharing. Revenue sharing is what the money we have with the county.
Okay.
And
somehow I thought it was different. Okay, thanks.
yeah, you have highway user that comes from the state. You have revenue sharing comes from the county.
Okay.
And your wireless is on top of the water tank. You know, we always talk about the water and sewer always having a deficit. The money from the water tank of leasing the top of it goes to the general fund and not to the water and sewer. If you did it to the water and sewer would be solvent. We've had this conversation many times over the years, and you know, see what Tony says when he comes in, because people don't like to grant money to the water and sewer, but really you have assets in the water and sewer that are making money that aren't going to the water and sewer. If that makes sense. So let's talk about the general fund revenue. Really, the budgeted number that you guys adopted and set put together, and it was very, very conservative, and that's why we have a big over budget. Things didn't really slow down revenue wise just because of the pandemic, and we came in $622,000, $636 actually over what was budgeted. Biggest one, income tax. It definitely did not have any drops. I think Montgomery County was really worried about having a drop. Did not impact us. The town's fairly insulated as far as that goes. It was amazing that much money came in. Development fees. There's a big chunk of this was for a bond funds for Westerly Grove. So that's not a typical big jump you would have right there. And our highway user funds were up more than anticipated, property taxes. And there also was a COVID relief for $22,000 that came from the county that was spent on hand sanitizers and different things in town hall and for the guys in mask, PPE stuff. But that's a pretty big jump. We've never had that big of a jump as far as budget to actual, as far as revenue. So then on the other side, you talk about the expenditures, we had kind of a different thing where we actually didn't spend as much as we wanted to also, which kind of leads to why we had so much money left over. We budgeted for $2.6 million for the budget, closed out 2.5, so it was $156,000 under budget. The big part was we had $100,000 for the comprehensive plan consultant. Obviously, we didn't spend it because we just awarded the contract tonight. We did move money over into FY22 to cover that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then the salaries for the general fund were down also. We didn't have the summer help last year, and certainly wasn't overtime because of the events and different things, so save money there. Okay. On the water and wastewater, made a lot more revenue. Obviously, a lot of people were home, and to the tune where the user fees were up over $124,000 more than anticipated. We made a lot more funds as far as the revenue goes just because people were home. Same with WSSC. That's from the Jonesville Jerusalem line. And again, that's just people were home. Interest income started to come back up. That's nice. So we still needed a grant. Still needed that grant of $31,880 to make it solvent.
Wade,
yes.
Can you give a little more detail for not just the people on the commission, but whoever's listening in the audience, why this is important that we only had a grant of $31,880 versus that it could have been a lot more depending on usage. And the fact that this is a balancing act every year to figure out what that grant should be.
It is, and it's been as high as $100,000, before, and it's been as low, I think maybe 15,000 was probably the least it's ever been.
Wallace.
So yeah, every year there is a grant. Like I said, you do have water asset that's making money that doesn't go into this. So that's
Why is
something
this-
that was discussed.
Why is this called a grant? This is money that just comes from Peter's pocket to pay Paul's pocket.
It's what the commissioners wanted to call it 12 years ago, and it just stuck.
Oh,
Well, and
It could
and
be called a
Jeff,
subsidy, it could be called a grant, it could be called whatever.
Jeff, and the way it works is that we like say that no one had any usage this past year. We had very little usage. Everybody was out. Nobody was home.
right.
Let's say the deficit was $100,000.
Mhm.
There would be a temptation amongst all of us to potentially either raise the water rates or increase taxes or both to try and compensate for the deficit.
Right.
But look what happened. We didn't have the deficit because we ended up using and people ended up paying.
Yeah.
So there was no need to have to increase the taxes or the water rates with a grant of only $31,000. And Wade, it's been more than $100,000, just not recently.
Just not recently. No, it had been higher than
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you're right. Years ago, it was a lot more. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it could be as high as $250,000, you guys. So this
Well,
is
I wasn't objecting to
Yeah.
the concept of taking money from the general fund and putting it into the water and wastewater. I wasn't objecting to that at all. I just thought the word grant to me was misleading.
Yeah, I think that just my general point is that this is as a result of this board right sizing those fees,
Mhm.
and then also having a year that reflected usage.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. And chemicals, and you'll see sludge in a minute, what the costs are. So when I first started putting this together, I was thinking, man, we made a lot of money in water and sewer. We're going to be good this year. And then when I got to the expenditure side, it wasn't quite that way.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see in a minute. But you're right, Jim. It does change each year also.
Mhm.
So we look at the expenditures. We were $209,000 over budget in the water and sewer. A big part of it, sludge hauling. So while there were more people home, there's also more being sludge and more wastewater being processed. You see
Oh.
electricity is up too.
Yeah.
So I'm going through, actually, I'm breaking down every month, every sludge hauling, the weights, everything right now with Matt Haga to see if there's a way that we can change the process a little bit to reduce the amount of sludge we have during cold temperature times. That's when it really goes up from, the sludge has to be hauled off to Pennsylvania to a landfill. And to have a jump like this, that far over, $102,000 over what we had budgeted, that was really unexpected. And
Does it bump up because we had a lot of heavy water days?
it does. That does it. The cold weather, it kind of fluffs the blanket. There's a whole, I don't want
so
to
it's
get into
more
talk about the
difficult to-
microbiology of it, but
Uh-huh.
but when you do start to talk about the microbiology, it fluffs the blanket, and you have to have enough clear space to take off, and so you take more of these microbes off, and then you have to dispose of them, and then they produce more, and so you get this back and forth during cold weather times, and
Oh.
it's so if we can manage that, so we're reaching out to Maryland Rural Water also. They have wastewater circuit riders that come around, so we're reaching out to try to get some help for this and see if there's something we can do. So that's always a big one. Salaries were over. There was just different overtime and stuff that happened this year. And then electricity was up. If you're pumping more water, well, it takes more electricity to pump it. So that's why, even though the revenue was way up, so were the expenses, but it, almost balanced itself out. I like this chart here. It's a nice breakdown. It shows what the wastewater on the left costs versus the water on the right. And obviously the wastewater is more expensive, electricity wise and chemical wise and everything else. The water is more salary based expenses than it is other things.
Will the I&I project reduce that purple slice where it says water 40%?
Oh, no, just the opposite. So the water is 40, the wastewater is 60. So you're going to reduce the amount of water that goes down. That's less to be processed. That's less chemicals that'll be used, less overtime if the guys don't have to be there to make process control changes during high flow events. So just the opposite. It's this side here.
Oh, then what's this part that says water 40%?
That is this. So here's how that's broken down. Here's the 40% right here.
Oh,
Guys,
okay.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
So now we'll talk about some of the CIP expenditures, and really it wasn't that bad in the general fund this year because a lot of things were toned back. Anything I have highlighted is it's going to be a budget amendment that we'll adopt tonight as we adopt this. It wasn't planned for. There was some web design and different things that were done to the tune of $13,500. Comes out of office equipment. It's typically we do all our upgrades and different things. So that'll be something we had to do. They did get some new readers this year, some other upgrades to some of the equipment in the meeting room. They did get one vehicle. Now they were slated, so it's $23,000 for a mule there. And holiday lights each year, we upgrade some of our holiday lights. When we get over to the trucks, we had a couple of different trucks slated to be purchased, and they're just on back order. It's hard to get them right now. So that's why you only see one truck. We had a couple slated. They'll probably come in, I think he said 4 or 5 months still out. So we picked up one truck. And they picked up a gas truck instead of a diesel truck, just because it was cheaper. And I think that Seth was just trying to scale everything back because he wasn't sure how the year was going to turn out. We prefer diesel because we have a diesel tank and they last longer pushing snow and doing the heavy operation stuff.
Yeah.
Parks and Recs, we just did a design. There's a grant coming in for that to be constructed once it's there. And there was a paving project the past year also. And that's a typical price, $500,000 to $600,000, $700,000. On the water system side, so you see the 3 budget amendments there. This account 3130, $177,000 was spent. Some was planned and some not. So, you probably heard through the year, I'm sure that Seth probably reported that well 5 and well 6 had gone out of service and had to be pulled. So they were, and you see it's fairly expensive to pull a well pump and replace it. The well 11 finally completed that project there, but it was $51,599 over budget. And so that's something we'll have to get there. I'm not sure if you were aware of that or not, but it is up and running. Remember when they drilled that hole in 2000? It took forever to get it online. And then there was some other small stuff. And you can see we started the prepping for the water tank painting, having trouble right there finding people that are going to bid on it because they don't have the labor to do some of the work. And then well 14, that's the Westerly Grove well. We'll be working on that this year, getting that online.
Does that have to wait for the report from the hydrologist?
No, she knows it's there. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
She knows what it's. She did that. Actually, she did the testing on it when it was. We did a repump on it, tested the quality, tested the flow rates and everything. So she has all that data already. She did it. On the wastewater side, we had a lot of different equipment, pumps and stuff that we purchased throughout the year. See, the ENR upgrade was $50,000 of that, and that's all paid for a grant. So, and we know that the construction money is coming down the pike also, so it's been approved.
Is ENR the denitrification?
It's enhanced nutrient removal, so it is a denitrification filtration process. There's a couple of ways to do denitrification. This is with the filtration process that we're going to be doing.
Right, but there's a whole new component being built.
Oh yeah, a couple buildings. Yes, absolutely.
Did we not get to there yet?
No, we're just in the paper stage right now. So John, he can give updates as he's going, but I know they'll be going out to bid with documents. You have to make sure everything's in line with what the state's requirements are for those bidding documents, and then they have to approve them. So no, it's a slow, arduous process whenever you're working with state money.
Right.
Somehow I thought we were.
It's in building permits right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so it's reasonably far along if you get to permit area.
Well,
No, maybe not. Okay.
It's closer.
Yes.
Thanks, Wade. Thanks, Wade.
Okay. Regular equipment, nothing big standing out there. A little mixer here and there, some water and sewer equipment, to the tune of $37,000 in that account. Inflow infiltration, did some TVing and different things for $69,000. And then there was different water main breaks, some valve repairs that blew up, some subdivisions. Guys had to take care of, or had a contractor came in and took care of them. That's what that pays for, $44,000.
Yeah, but there's a big I&I project, right, Mr. Strong? And that can't be it because that number is too small.
No. That's some of that is the monitoring that takes place beforehand, determination of where to put our work to it. A large portion of it is, I don't know if you recall, we we shut down and pumped around the manhole at the right before it comes into the plant. And that's where we found a large infiltration area. And then there is some probably in that report. Let's see, this is 21. There may be, I don't think so. We're also doing all the specifications to get it out to bid for infiltration, the lining and the replacement of manhole lining and all the other projects that we do have planned for the tranche that's coming as part of the $2.1 million. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that the town is getting. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, we'll talk about restricted funds. I believe this is page 2 in the budget. And these are all restricted, I shouldn't say by us ourselves, either it's by a legal reason or we have put our own restrictions on it. And they're all a little bit different. So we can start with recreation events. That's from Kathy, whatever she makes on a year. We put it in restricted funds just so it rolls over. Part of the programming in this budget here doesn't see it unless you do it this way. So she has money once the events start about next year to seed her events. Economic development. Yeah.
So anything in restricted funds can roll from one budget to another, to the next?
Exactly. CIP, yeah, CIP can do that, and
Yeah.
restricted funds can, impact fees can, but operational is usually use it or lose it.
Right. Okay, thanks. I didn't know that. I knew about the new capital improvement projects, of course, but I didn't know about restricted funds.
Yeah. Economic development, we talked about this during budget time. It's money that was put in here for possibly the Grape Crest facility to do some advertising or partner up somehow, and the money's never been spent. Reforestation, now there is a legal requirement of how those funds can be spent. There's not much in there now. We spent a lot of it doing street trees and probably the arboretum behind Carrie's house. And now we want to stop taking them. I think it's a policy of the Planning Commission not to accept it and make people do afforestation or reforestation. Development rec fees. These are Wesley Grove was not able to give us 2.5 acres, so they have to give us a percentage of the impact fee for every house they build. So this pot's kind of building up for this for a park. If you recall, in FY22, we have spent some of this money. So this is a snapshot of where we are on June 30th. So you have to carry this and look at the FY22. You'll see that, yes, we did allocate it in 22. Sewer connection fees. Those are any house that is built after or off of the impact fee list has to pay a connection fee that is the same as the impact fee, but all the money goes to repairing I&I or paying off the I&I loan we have. However you guys want to spend it, but it's subject to I&I. And then there's some development funds for same type of thing. Kettler's proffers, most of those stuff is going towards a loan we're paying off. So total on hand is $365,355. Impact fees. So we have 4 categories for impact fees. You got public facilities, which is a proportionate share of the building that I'm sitting in. Parks, water system, and wastewater system. So this is what we collected each year. We had a total of, here we go, 56 single-family homes, collected $725,873. Here's the
I think
balance.
it's the building that you're pretending to be sitting in.
Took you a minute. Yes. So you can see the public facility money can really be spent however you want to because it's paying us back for something we spent years ago. The park system, we do put those back into the parks, and we're probably putting this into the possibly the Westerly Grove, or we'll see what else comes down the pike. Water system, we're saving up for well 14. Some of this money, we already have some we've allocated out to it, sit in the CIP accounts, but there's another 500,000 here that can go towards that. And then the wastewater plant, this is paying off the loan for the expansion that we did to increase it to the size that it is now. You guys good on impact fees? Because they're going to be gone here pretty soon. Once Westerly Grove's done- Go ahead.
I'm not exactly sure how to say this, but my understanding is they're not going to be gone. They're going to be called something else.
Well, you're exactly right. You won't have an impact fee, which is actually a legal term, differently and different. You have to meet certain criteria for it.
So it's going to be if I recollect properly, it's going to be a connection fee.
Exactly. You've got it. That's exactly right.
All right. Thank you.
So looking at debt service, we really whittled it down. We paid off the Westman I&I loan. That's gone. We only have a couple years left on the wastewater expansion, the one we just talked about. And so that means you're going to have a few dollars left over, as you saw the numbers just now. And then we only have one left in place, and his connection fees can start going to this and paying this down also. So not a lot in debt, and that's great. We've always tried to keep that minimal. So
Oh,
let's take a look.
you passed up a big number there. Can you go back one? What's that last box there? Westerly I&I.
Oh,
Well,
this
I know
was-
I&I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is what the loan, well, the original loan was, I don't have it on here. This is the balance of the loan. The loan was probably closer to 2 million. So we're paying it down.
Okay, so this is not
FY33 is
the-
paid off.
This is not the new project?
No, sir. This
No.
one we redid all of the Westerly. We put clean outs in every yard.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
No, I&I is forever. If you have a sewer system.
Yeah,
you
it's
have
forever, but
I&I.
I'm still waiting to see the part about the new project with the American Rescue Plan money, and we're running out of pages.
Oh, so we've not received that money, and it wasn't part of the FY21 budget that was adopted in May of
Oh, yes, of
20.
course, okay.
So, right, so, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So sorry. Yeah, I was thinking, sorry, next year.
Okay, exactly. So here's a snapshot of where we are as far as the funds go as of June 30th. And we're looking at, a little over, $6.5 million just about in the bank. Most of it's in the county investment fund, making money. You see a lot of it's tied up in, well, we do have quite a bit of unrestricted funds right now, even though in FY22, we did allocate a couple $100,000 of this out. If you just look at the budget, look at the last column, you'll see that it was allocated out. So yeah, 380,000 was allocated. So numbers a little bit smaller than that. And these are the numbers we just talked about, just piles up. So that's really it. You guys have any questions?
Well, it was a great presentation. Most of it made sense, Wade.
See, the more you hear it, the more you know it.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
Thanks for
Thank
that,
you.
Wade.
Yeah,
Appreciate
very
it.
good.
I enjoyed reading through it once you sent it to us, so thanks a lot.
I
So
still
we
want to
need-
go over the details before you leave.
We need a motion, Wade.
Yes, you do.
And what was it, FYI 21?
Yes, close out.
I make a motion, we approve the FY 21 closeout.
I second at the great presentation, Wade, and actually very favorable results.
Great. We have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Looks like all we're left with is your report. Wade,
Well,
if you have anything else to report.
I don't really have a lot, we could touch on trash for a moment. We're still having some incidents, obviously, and I know you were contacted by a resident today. We are trying to stay in contact with Bates. They are having a serious labor issue. Can't have a hard time getting drivers, and I think this is industry-wide. We've talked to a couple other trash firms. They're having the same kind of issue. Some of them are not even taking on new clients at this time because of this issue. And as we go down the road, Tony's going to have to, deal with this here, and you guys have to come to grips with, do you want to go out to bid? Just for trying to find another firm or something and just see how that plays out moving forward. But they are staying in contact with as much as they can. Sometimes you don't get a call till the next day. And sometimes supervisors aren't in, but it's a very difficult situation right now. And that's all I really have.
Yeah, it's definitely probably going to be a priority list for Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony.
Oh, boy.
That's all I have.
Well, I think Wade, you're probably starting to remember why you left in the first place, but I just wanted to say again, thank you so much for helping us. I know this is your last meeting with us, and I'm glad that you're able to stick around and help with the onboarding of our new managers. So we appreciate all of your hard work.
No, thank you guys. I enjoyed myself with you all. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Wade.
Yeah, definitely, Wade. Thank you.
Wait,
And
did you,
I'll have the pleasure. This will be your last commissioner meeting, but I'll have the pleasure of seeing you at a planning commission meeting. Is that right?
Yes, you will.
Very good.
and Wayne, did you see my question that I sent you on the email? Well, I can repeat it if you didn't see the email. So
Yes.
the question was regarding transition, right? And my expectation, now I can understand how you want to depart quickly, but my understanding was, maybe my expectation, not my understanding, but was that you were going to be present for some period of time. I guess I don't know what that is, for a transition with Tony, which I think is super duper useful and valuable. Is that still the case, please?
I think it's gonna be more of Zoom meetings and different stuff. I'm not gonna, I don't gonna come up there and step on his toes and walk him around town. Right.
Oh. I think you should walk him around town.
Well, I did once. We drove around town.
Wade, I'll walk him around town. I got you.
All right.
I'll walk him.
No, I had good conversation with Tony. He's ready to go. He's open. He said, I can call you or whenever. Call me anytime you want. Yes. So yeah, we're gonna be working together. We're talking with John and Jay about different, we're talking today, we're gonna go be in person or we're gonna do Zooms. I think we may do both. So you may see me up there.
Is this different than last time?
Yes, I was not involved at all last time.
Was John or Jay involved last time? My point
They
is,
have to speak to
we
that.
have to do something different than last time. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
you
I
do.
honestly thought that you were going to sit side by side and help Tony get off to a rocket start. That's what I thought.
I think he's going to be good. I think we got it covered. Yeah, he doesn't need a babysitter at all. He's a very experienced manager.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie, what's next on the agenda?
That's all we got, everybody.
That was
Anyone
it.
want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion we adjourn.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
All right. See you Wednesday.